welcome. How's it going, Ryan?
Good. Yourself?
Good, good. I see your backdrop there. You got some tires in the background.
Oh, yes. Tires and body work.
Perfect. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm in my garage right now. Let me know if the internet connection starts to lag a bit. I'm not sure how it is out here. Whoops.
It seems to be okay.
So
Right?
I've never really tested it out. All right, cool.
Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Ryan Boddy. We've never actually met before, but we've been pals on social media for a little bit now.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, I live in Western Canada, Calgary, Alberta. Reason why we're pals on social media and stuff is we're two fellow racers. So I've been racing for 7 years now with the Edmonton Motorcycle Road Racing Association. Since then, I've won 7 titles, 7 number 1 plates. What else do I gotta say? Family man. I got 2 young kids. Originally from just north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Moved out here the last 10 years and kind of got into racing after that.
That's very cool. Yeah, I envy all those titles. I have a couple to my name, but not 7 just yet. So it's good to see that progression and getting through it and getting better and more consistency, right? And I see that you're in dirt bikes and snowmobiles and sport bikes. Is there any other form of motorsport that you're into?
Not really doing the snowmobile thing anymore. That used to be something I did a lot back when I lived in Eastern Canada. Actually do a lot of winter enduro, winter dirt biking. So actually going out tomorrow, the wife and I, we just throw studs on the dirt bikes so that we can use them all year round.
There you go.
But besides that, pretty much did a little bit of but unfortunately we don't, so we're kind of limited. But yeah, just really the enduro riding and the snow riding, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on Canada. It's got to be such a colder climate. I mean, I'm in Michigan. It's not exactly warm all year round. But in Canada, you have even less of a riding season. You have less time, I would assume. So are you guys normally riding in snowy and rainy conditions all the time? Is that just normal for you? Or is your season just condensed a little bit?
Yeah, I'm just going to move inside my house here for a second. Just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
Find a better spot. I thought it'd be decent out here, but guess not.
Sometimes it's hard to find a quiet, good spot with good internet.
Well, exactly. I wanted to use the garage because that's with the family. That's my quiet spot, right? But
right. Your man cave.
Hold on a second here.
Sure.
Yeah, you know it. Yeah, so we'll see how this goes here. So yeah, what were you saying?
I was just asking
about I heard up
your riding season and the weather. I mean, being in Canada, I'm from Michigan, so it's not always exactly really hot either. But in Canada, I would assume you have even less of a riding season because of the weather.
Yeah, so Michigan, your weather would be kind of similar to what I was used to growing up near Toronto kind of thing. Our seasons are short, I'll say that. Usually start end of May, and then we usually go until beginning of September, but that round's always like touch and go. It's usually 10 degrees Celsius, so what's that? It's probably
cold,
like 45 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that, I'd say. So yeah, it's cold. It's sketchy. The last 3 years have been like, you want to make sure you have championships wrapped up before you go into that last round.
Oh yeah, and do they race if it's snowing?
No, well, not Not on sport bikes, that's for sure.
Because I've actually been to a track day. I think it
That'd be a disaster.
was late
Though we
April.
have had track days where it started to kind of sleet
Yeah.
halfway through the day.
Yep. Yeah, I went to a track day. It was late April, early May in Michigan, and it was snowing. Definitely snowing. Yeah, are you back?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was snowing in Michigan in late April, early May. So it was they had us take our trucks out on the track to break up the ice. It was so bad. There was ice in a river in turn 1 and turn 3, I think it was.
What track's that?
That was at Granton Raceway over in Belding, Michigan, west side of the state.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, just moving to another room here.
Yeah, no problem.
So what tracks do you mostly ride?
So I mostly do like Granton, Gingerman. There was Joliet in Illinois, which was Autobahn Country Club.
Oh, yeah.
Blackhawk Farms, Road Atlanta is a big one. Barber Motorsports Park in Alabama as well. There's or Georgia and then Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the tracks in the Northeast go to. I've actually since in the last couple of years been switching over to mountain bikes because it's so much cheaper and I kind of ran out of money. So I started a business, Eric's, to fund all that stuff. So I'm selling products on eBay and Amazon, doing my own website, shopesr.com, selling products on there, doing Craigslist. I think you have a similar type of local marketplace in Canada you guys use. Just trying to get my name out there with these podcasts. This will be podcast, I think, number 25. So I just started this year and just not so much weekly. I can't do it every week. But actually this week I have, I think, 6 podcasts scheduled to do. So trying to crank them out, doing some more of them. And just, I hope to get back into motorsports and being able to fund racing sport bikes again and maybe cars at some point. But it's just so expensive, as you know. I'm just trying to take a step back and be smart about it. So tell me,
Yeah, I know.
how have you been able to continue racing at such a high level?
Well, I've kind of had to take a step back too once we started having a family. So I started with this club and kind of worked my way up through it. But then I really had goals and dreams of racing our national series, the Canadian Superbike Series, which is mostly an Eastern series. They don't really come out west. So a lot of traveling, a lot of commitment, and did it for a couple of years. I didn't do the whole series. I just did their last round, which is at one of our most famous tracks, Mossport, if you ever heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Really enjoyed it, really wanted to do it, but same thing. It's really got expensive fast, right? And you start to realize it. And with having a family, you got to be smart. So I kind of took a step back and went back to just having fun with racing. And I've been racing with our local club and just doing that the last couple of years and really enjoyed it. And I've really excelled doing it because it just takes the stress away from it and there's more funds available. So I'd love to go back and race a national series. I mean, once this pandemic's over, I'd love to get down south and do some racing too. But for now, it's just been keeping a tight budget and doing our EMRA weekends and then just doing track days and having fun. And we have another track out in British Columbia, the western province from us, that was just built a few years ago, called Area 27. And it's a phenomenal racetrack. It's absolutely beautiful. So they don't do racing there, but they just do track days. So we usually like to go out there and, enjoy a bit of the mountains in British Columbia, and then we'll go ride and do track days there and just have fun, right? So
Yeah,
we just try to make it cheaper.
Yeah, sounds unique that they don't do racing there, only track days. Is there a reason? Is it maybe safety, or is it just how it's set up?
It's a private track,
Okay.
so they have to make it's members only kind of thing. so they have to adhere to their members. But that being said, our national series has been pushing there, and our club and other clubs have been kind of pushing. So we're being optimistic that they'll be racing there in the next few years. So
Be cool. It's always nice to get a new track on the schedule. Um, you know, it's different from going from a track day to racing. Everybody pushes so much harder, and you end up going faster. And sometimes, if it's a new track that never raced at, you're going to have lap records.
oh yeah, you definitely have lap records. Well, there already is lap records out there with guys pushing on track days and stuff, but definitely when you add racing to it, it'll definitely get dropped, right? It always it's that next level, right? So
Absolutely, yeah. And tell me, you're on the ZX-10 right now, the Kawasaki. How do you like that bike?
the Gen 5, I love it. There's a couple of things. So one of the things is our tracks that I currently race on. So our club currently is on 2. They're very small, tight tracks. And for a big, long wheelbase bike like that, it's a bit of a handful to work around the track. So, I mean, I got a great suspension mechanic guy that helps me set up the bike, and we get it working as best we can. The hardest thing I have with it is the wheelies. It takes a lot to control the wheelies on the thing because it just wants to take off. I mean, you rode a BMW, didn't you?
I rode a bunch of Kawasaki's, 600s class, and then
Okay.
to a Triumph for a little while.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you rode a BMW for some reason. Anyways, yeah, it's a handful of a bike. The one thing I love about it is a very great stable chassis. So when you get on a big track, like it's in a big sweeping corner, it's so stable, and it makes so much power right off the box that it makes it a little easier to race guys. Like just because you can just keep the bike in front, you know what I mean? It makes a
Yeah.
ton of power. So it's a great bike. Few things I wish it did a little better, but all in all, I'm a big fan of it.
No anti-wheelie on that bike yet?
Well, it's got it. It's got anti-wheelie electronics, but we try to use as little as we can, right? Because that just costs you time. So it's just about finding a balance, right?
Right. It's
So
basically like retarding the engine so you don't go up past a certain percentage.
exactly, right? So it'll cut, and it's okay if it lets the front wheel go up just a bit, cuts, and it kind of holds it. I'm fine with that. But there's one of the tracks we go to, you come out of some of the corners and you just get on it and it wants to come up, and then it'll come down, but
Yeah.
then once it comes down, it shuts the electronics off, and then it just comes up again. So it's just like this yo-yo kind of
Yeah.
thing, right? So we try to just let it lift and carry. So
Right. Be as smooth as possible.
yeah, we actually this year we didn't really get to test it much because the parts just didn't come in time, but we added a thumb brake to it. So I'm looking forward to using that because I can just, coming out of a right-hander, I can just get to that rear brake quicker.
Yeah.
Just keep that front down. So I'm excited about that for next year.
And what hand is that rear thumb brake on?
On the left hand, on the clutch side. So it's just right there for you. So
Okay. So you don't have to worry about the throttle at all with that.
yeah, that would be confusing. Brake, throttle, brake.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's 2 on the hand now, 2 brakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I hear a lot of people are switching to that because the right-handers, they can't get their foot in the right position to be on the peg. It's just such an awkward thing. People don't realize you just throw away that brake because you can't use it in those situations unless you have a different foot position.
Pretty much. Like we have one corner. So one of our tracks is called Stratotech, and it's originally a go-kart track. So super tight, super flat. With this one right-hander you come out of with a little bit of a straight, and I would have to come out of it, throw my weight over top of the bike. So as soon as I got it stood up, get on the rear brake so I could get the drive out of the corner, or else it's just going to want to lift too high and I have to roll off the throttle. So for that corner especially is where I'm really excited to try it. So
Yeah. And when did you make the switch from the 600s to the 1000s?
I made the switch in 2018. So I rode a Yamaha R6 before.
Okay.
loved the chassis, such a light, nimble bike. Um, so my goal though was I wanted to win. So in our club, we have two 600 class races. We have 600 Super Sport and 600 Super Bike. Normally there'd be class specifications to each, like what you're allowed in each class with parts. But for us, you can race both with the same bike. And my goal was to win at least the 600 Superbike Championship before moving up. So I wanted to move a year earlier, but I waited, and then I won both the Super Sport and the Superbike Championships in 17. So then I was kind of done with the 600s, and I want to move on to the 1000s. So
And there's nobody really racing 50s anymore. It's almost like a dying breed.
the what bikes?
The 750s.
750s?
Yeah.
Yeah. They even make a 750 anymore? I can't even remember. I think they do, eh? Do they?
I'm not sure what year or if they still even have them in production. That's, nobody rides them anymore. There used to be, 600, 750 was the kind of the middle in between the two, but those are kind of fading away.
Yeah.
There's not a big premier race class that's racing those.
No, but it's funny. Everyone talks about, so this track I mentioned, Stratotac, that we used, the club that I race with used to race there up until 2013. And then the track was sold. And so the new owner didn't have any interest in racing, so no one raced. But when we came back to it in 2020, and all the old guys that used to race there used to say the ultimate bike there was a Gixxer 750 because it's best combination of a 600 and a 1000, right? To
Yeah.
be nimble, light, but still make enough power.
Yeah. And now, if you follow Moto2 at all, they're racing a 765, which is basically a 750, I guess, a triple.
Yeah.
So it's kind of not really a 600 class anymore in the Moto2 World Championship.
No, it's not. And I don't know if you saw, but Yamaha's going to cease production on the R6.
I mean, all good things come to an end, right? Maybe they're just going to make another 600 and call it an R7. I don't know, or something. Who knows?
Yeah, or a 750 called an R7 kind of thing. That'd be exciting. That'd be a weapon.
They're just steadily up in the horsepower and the CCs of all these bikes. It used to be the 250s. Now it's 300s. Now it's 400s. It's going to be 500s again. One day.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and
at least they have the rider aids now that it'll.
Yeah, it won't be those two-stroke 500s anymore. It'll be more of a manageable 500. But I was looking.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing a little digging into you right before this, and I saw you did some Wera racing. That's where I raced the most, is Wera. And I saw you were in, I think it was Miller in 2016.
Yep. Yeah, that was the first time I ever went down to Miller.
That's a far drive from Alberta.
It's our closest American track, so.
Really? It can't be.
Quite a bit of us.
What
actually
tracks out in Washington now? The Ridge?
Yeah, there's the Ridge, but if you look at the distance from Alberta, Miller's still closer.
Really? Wow. I guess it's further central than I think.
Yeah, it's only by a few hours because Miller's just a straight shoot south, right? Where the Ridge and what are some of the other tracks out there? Anyways, you're kind of heading southwest, right? So
yeah, I got you. And I looked up the Astral Raceway, and that's about 30-hour drive from my house. It's a far one.
Yeah, exactly.
And so tell me a little bit about your home life. You have some animals. You're a dog lover.
Yeah, I'm a dog lover. We got Jax. He's our 6-year-old German Shepherd, purebred. And then we picked up Harley. So we rescued her. There's a native reserve just west of here. And she was found there and then listed for sale. So we picked her up, and she's a Shepherd, Border Collie, Lab, you name it, mix of everything. But they're great. They're always fun. They keep me busy.
Yeah. I've always wanted a dog, but just never pulled the trigger. I feel like I'm never home enough or don't have enough time to dedicate to it. But at the same time, it's better than the dog not finding a home, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. We kind of waited until, well, I waited till I met my wife, and then there was two people there to help with the dog rather than, because I was single too. I thought the same thing. I wanted to get one, but
Yeah,
never home all the time, right? So it's just not fair to the dog.
right. And I have a cat now, but I mean, I feel like they're so independent. He doesn't care if I'm here or there, so it's a little different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Um, but tell me, how has COVID affected you in your life, in your area? Is it a big thing where you are? Is everybody wearing masks? Like, what's your daily life been like?
So I've been fortunate enough that with my job, I'm a high voltage electrician, so I'm considered essential.
Yeah,
Um, so work-wise, I haven't been affected at all. Actually, it's actually quite nice because they've given us more freedoms at work, where we used to have to, kind of all meet up at our shop and then figure out our duties for the day and then go about. Where now we all kind of just, we have our task given to us online, and we just go out to certain substations and do our work, right? We don't have to report to anyone. So it's been actually giving me a bit more freedom. But that being said, in Alberta, we were one of the better provinces with tackling COVID at first, but now our case numbers have, skyrocketed as they have everywhere. So we just are actually going into a strict lockdown starting this weekend, unfortunately. So basically all businesses closing, and then essential businesses allowed 15% of their maximum capacity, and then all sports, like my son's in hockey, and that's been shut down and canceled. So bummer. Christmas is canceled.
yeah, for sure. I think we're just coming out of a lockdown. I'm not sure. Nobody seems to know what the laws are or what the rules are anymore. It seems to change by the minute. Um, but yeah, for me, I've been going to work every day, just wearing masks and trying to
Yep.
distance when you can. But I mean, you can't do it everywhere. And like Black Friday, I didn't go out shopping, but people said it was a madhouse, But then restaurants are closed, so it just seems so arbitrary.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's and confusing, right? One, you get told one thing one day, and then a week later you're being told something else. So
Yeah, very difficult. But is there anything on your mind you wanted to talk about today?
uh no, not a whole lot. So tell me a little bit. So I mean, how do you pronounce your last name? Is it Eric Swahn?
Yep, just like the bird, but with an H in there.
Silent H, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like my name with the silent D, Boddy. But anyways, so like, yeah. So what do you tell me about your business and how it's going?
Yeah, so I started my business with no money, and I had just been laid off from a job, from doing nothing wrong, and I was fed up. And I started
Yeah,
selling all my old race tires on eBay. I'm sorry, on Craigslist at first, only on Craigslist, and I had realized I had sold every single tire that I used at one point, for takeoff tires. And so I'm like, there's something
yeah,
here. And I started now listing these products on eBay, and they started to take off as well. And now a couple of years later, I'm shifting away from the used products and my own personal things that I was uploading to eBay, and I'm now uploading real vendor items. Major companies are drop shipping items for me. I'm using like O'Neill, OGO, M4 Performance exhaust, like major brands, Motul suspension setup tools I'm selling, all kinds of motorcycle, car parts, mountain bike parts. I want to get into even electronics and other sporting goods like snow sports and bicycle sports down the road, just so that I don't have a slow season. Because as you know, motorcycles are mainly in the summer. Although I do ship globally, So you have a little bit less there when you're shipping to, like the other day I shipped to Russia and Australia. And then the week before was like Brazil and Canada, a bunch of Canada orders. So it's all over the place. So I still work a normal job. I still go into work every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then I come home and do my business usually from 2:30 to 6, hopefully, or 7 or 8 if I need to. And then I also do like at least one podcast a week. I try to get that going, a couple a month, and just trying to make a name for myself. Hopefully, my real goal is to quit my job and not have to have a boss. I mean, isn't that everybody's goal, to be able to make money and not have to go to work? I think that's the real goal, is to get out of the rat race. And nobody in my family's ever done it before. Nobody in my family's ever tried to do that before they're 65, you know? So it's not there yet. Like I said, I still have to work a normal job, but the last few months have been 5 figures a month, which is fantastic for me. I think I need about 3 times more what I'm doing right now, and I might be able to actually quit my job. So maybe in a couple.
That's awesome.
And right now I got a full-time worker in India, which is kind of interesting deal. It's a way to get really cheap labor, and he's really smart, and he's quick, and he's fast and efficient. So it works out. And I also have another part-time worker in Michigan remotely. So I have some remote employees who are kind of doing things. I'm trying to pull the strings and tell them what to do, and direct them with what needs to be done next. So just trying to. The main thing that we're struggling with is just getting all these products that we have access to listed for sale on eBay and Amazon and our website and Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. It just takes a lot of time when you have 10,000 products. It's not
for sure.
And tomorrow, if you do 100 a day, maybe it's going to take a while. So that's what I'm doing with the business. It's just uploading products, selling products, and trying to make some money.
Well, that's all right then. And how long you been doing it for?
Well, I officially formed ESR, Eric Swahn Racing, in 2014 for sponsorship, because I was racing. I was doing really well. I had pretty much just gotten enough points to become a pro, and I applied for my pro license, and I became licensed pro in 2015, but I just ran out of money, and I stopped racing early 2015 in motorsports. So I switched from sponsorship to e-commerce, and I started doing e-commerce around 2015, 2016. And so I've been doing that ever since. 4 or 5 years now. I've been selling stuff online, and there's a lot of hiccups. There's a lot of things you got to learn. Losing money on shipping because you put in the wrong dimensions or something, or didn't calculate it right, or I found if you ship a tire without a box versus with a box, even though you got to pay for the box, it's like $30 cheaper. Like, I'm wasting $30 because I'm not spending $5 on a box. Just learning things like that. Just trying to figure out, having to buy 7 rows of shelving because I have inventory here. Where are you going to put it all? How do you find it all? You got to mark everything with SKU and storage location, and it's got to be run like a business. So you got to do everything right.
Yeah.
So
well, good to know that you can ship tires cheaper in a box, because I sell a lot of takeoffs too. So
and
usually in person, but
it's crazy. If you buy 1 or 2 boxes from the store, you'll pay like $10 a piece for them. If you buy 50 boxes, you'll pay like $1.50 for each one. It's just dramatic, the price differences you get by buying in bulk. So that helps out. So we're just trying to upload new products. Just got O'Neill with boots and gloves and helmets and jerseys for motocross stuff. M4 Performance exhaust is probably my best-selling product that I have. We have exhaust for pretty much every bike that there is. We actually have 3 exhaust brands: Spark, Italian exhaust, which is kind of a lesser
Yeah.
in the States. It comes from Italy. There's also Akrapovic, which is Slovenian, which I used on my bike. And then the M4,
Yeah.
which is built and made in Texas, which is pretty cool, American made. I like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I kind of looked at your website there and looked at your what you have for sale before we chatted too. So I seen that a lot of M4 exhaust, a lot of spark stuff. That's cool.
yeah, and it's funny too. You look at my.
We currently,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of us up in Canada. So we have. You ever heard of Hindle exhaust?
Yeah.
So they're based at Port Perry, Ontario, Canada. So, and they always give us racers good deals and stuff. So a lot of us, that's what we run up here. It's hard to beat it with their pricing.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with each brand. They might have a different sound or produce different dyno results, but they're all really good in the end.
Yeah.
I was saying before, it's funny if you look at my site, I have 1,400 items that are what I started with. So when I started my business, I didn't have any money for inventory. So I would sell my old books and CDs and DVDs and vinyl records, videotapes, cassette tapes, everything that I could find, I put on eBay. So I could get like a reputation and get some feedback so that I could get these vendors. And so even today, I have erotic novels for like $3.99 for sale, like hundreds of them. It's just there's a big difference in my inventory right now.
Yeah, I kind of when I was looking there when I first went on your website, yeah, you had a bunch of CDs and stuff. And I always like to look at the price of expensive things, so I reorganized it to what's more expensive, right? So then I seen the exhaust. So that's how you got started. You just put everything that. I mean, we could do that around this house with the amount of junk that we got in this house.
You really can, and you can make money with it. Even my old T-shirts, shoes, pants. Like I have a couple rows of clothing that are just my ex-girlfriends, my parents sometimes. Just people would donate stuff to me. But now I'm getting to the point where I can't accept anything. I used to do consignment. So I still do consignment, but I'm just very restrictive. I can't accept anything that's probably under $100 because it's just not worth my time anymore. If it takes me all this time to upload an exhaust, it takes the same amount of time to upload a book, and the result is like $3 versus $1,000 or whatever. So
yeah, exactly.
where are you spending your time the best? So I would just say, yes, you can do that, but it just has to be high volume. And I'm never going to be high enough volume with books to make it worth my time.
I'm already so short on time anyways with kids and dogs and all the chaos with life. So it wouldn't be worth my time, but no, that's cool. So any plans to ever go back to racing?
Absolutely. It's my dream. I love to do it. I'm a racer at heart. I did all this behind me with like zero budget and no crew and just me, myself going to the racetrack with a bike. And so I know that I can do it and compete at a high level. I just need to make the money now to be able to do it. I'm trying to make the money now so I can go ahead and do that. So I'm, I have some money in my bank account. I could do that, but I don't want to go blow it tomorrow. It's not today. So I'm trying to be smart about it, build up some real cash flow here in the next 5 years or so. And maybe when I'm 33, I'll be able to race for the rest of my life. It might not be at the level I'm looking for, but at least I'll be out there and be competing. With money, you can do just about anything. You can pay your own way. So I'm just trying how to make more money. So I'm actually looking to dump about 1,000 of these items that are under $50 and just start focusing on the higher end stuff in the next couple of months here. So trying to make that change. And then, like I would love to race cars. I have a simulator upstairs that has a wheel and pedals. I'm really fast in a go-kart. There's a local go-kart track near my house It's just an indoor place, but they have timing and scoring on all that. And I think over 200,000 people have done a lap around that circuit. And at one point I was 25th, which is like a couple thousandths away from the fastest time, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm right there. It's just I need the money.
Yeah, I hear you.
Listen, everybody.
Yeah, every privateer racer, right?
So you would not consider yourself factory at this point?
No, I'm definitely far from it. I I have support from a good dealership in Calgary here, Pro-Am, and through that I get a bit of help from Kawasaki and whatnot, and which does go a long way. But that's where the more support would be needed to do more. It's like you say, just you taking yourself to the racetrack, right? That's what I've done as well. And I got one good French Canadian friend named Richard Bolduc that's been kind of my mechanic over the last couple of years, helping me out, and he's really helped me get to or achieve what I've achieved in the last couple of years. But the next step, that national level, you need your suspension guy, your tire guy, your mechanic, right? And you need a guy to work a pit board for you. Then it just starts that's where you just get expensive, right? And you ask friends to help you, but how often can you rely on friends all the time, right? So that's just the next step, right? And like you say, you can pave your way with money. You can hire those people if you want, but it's going to cost you. So that's why I stay where I am right now. So
For sure, yeah. Just gotta do it the smart way and do what works for you. So most of the time you said it was just you and one other guy, no major crew going to all these places, just you and one dude.
pretty much, and even near the end of last year, he got pretty affected by COVID, where he had to kind of switch his shifts around and change what he was doing. So he was working at nighttime and out of town, so he couldn't make the last couple of rounds from just me, right? So, which adds a lot more work to it, as you know.
Yep, you gotta unload the canopy, unload the bike, put them on the stands, put them on the warmers, get the generator out, all the gear, all that stuff every time, and then the toolbox and get ready for sleep. Are you sleeping in your trailer? Or do you do you go to
Make sure
the hotel?
we when we first started, it's funny, we used to do that. We used to just sleep in the cargo trailer, my wife and I. And then once we have kids, that really wasn't going to fly.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we ended up her mom and dad had a old motorhome that they weren't using anymore. So then we started using that and towing a trailer behind that. And we've used that ever since, which has been great because, making the long distance travels, it's always nice to just drive as far as you can and then, pull into a Walmart and just get some shut eye and then just pick up and go again. You don't have to be at a certain place. So we've always, we drove it, we've driven it down to Miller. I've driven it right across Canada to go race nationals at Mosport in Ontario. Bunch of stuff, but we've since sold that. Now we just got ourselves a toy hauler, and that's what we're using now to stay in. So
About how many does that sleep?
the toy hauler could sleep. You could sleep 6-7 people in that.
Good enough for you and your kids, for sure, and your wife.
They're better designed than the motorhome. That's why we ended up getting rid of the motorhome. Motorhome was kind of, you'd have your one bed in the back that the wife and I'd sleep in, then you had a pull-out couch in the middle in the kitchen. And then, as you know, getting up for riders meetings, I'd be getting up trying to tiptoe around the kids so I don't wake them. And of course, you wake one at 6:30 in the morning, they're both up, and
Oh yeah.
and the wife wouldn't be too happy with that. But the toy hauler design is a bit nicer because it keeps once you get the bikes, the tools, everything out of the garage area, it's got bunk beds in there and the kids are totally sectioned off. You're not going to wake them. So plus it's better for the off-road stuff, the the enduro stuff, getting into the bush, it got a bit higher ground clearance. So we're happy with it.
Well, good. Yeah, when I first started, I was just towing with a open trailer and a Pontiac Sunfire small two-door sedan, strapping tires to the roof, just no space, no kitchen, no nothing. You know, but you can do it. You can get to the track for really cheap. You don't have to spend a ton of money. All you need is a pickup truck, and a motorcycle and some leathers.
Yep, that's it, man. Once you're there, there's no difference, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that and seeing new people come into the club. It's with the same kind of setup as you, and it's awesome. I like because we used to be there. I used to be there too, right? So
Yeah. So,
asking people you didn't know to help you load your bike into your truck because you just showed up, you didn't know anyone there.
oh yeah, or the people that don't even have a ramp. They like, can I borrow your ramp? Yep.
I got a dirt bike buddy like that. We'll just lift his dirt bike out of his truck
Yeah.
and lift it back in.
Yeah. You got to ride it.
Hulk. Yeah, exactly.
So you've been riding dirt bikes for training, or are you actually racing those too?
Well, it's funny. So when I was growing up, kind of a early teens kind of thing, I rode a lot of dirt bikes, and then got my license, and all my buddies got their license. We all started driving and kind of got into cars a bit. So kind of fell out of it, right? And then I moved out here. When did I move out here? 2011, and wanted to get into sport bikes. I always loved the R6, so I bought myself a sport bike. And so I was like, well, this is cool. And then like, well, I got to take it to the track. And so I had it for a bit. Then I took it to the track and I had a really nice, good condition, perfectly clean R6, not a scratch on it. So after my first track experience, I was like, okay, I got to find something else because this was too much fun. And I know I'm going to wreck this bike. So I don't want to take this bike to the track anymore. So I found an older, well, not older, but just more beat up race R6, which eventually I built into being the one I won on. But anyways, and built that up. And then once I got into racing and I met friends from the track, everyone was dirt biking. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get back into this. So I got back into it again and just didn't really have a lot of friends that did it, but a lot of people out here ride enduro because we have mountains right off our doorstep pretty much, right? So the really hardcore enduro riding is really popular here. So I got into that and I absolutely love it. It's such a physical and mental challenge. The riding is so hard that it's the best training because it gets you such in good modal fitness, your whole body, I love it. Plus it's fun. It's nice to get out in the bush and disappear for a day.
I would imagine you have to be so technically sound when you're doing that because you're out in the middle of nowhere, and if you get hurt, you know, it could be bad, right?
Yeah, it can get real bad, and no one really rides alone for that reason. But yes, it can go bad it can go bad real fast out here. But it's just the being so technical because you're literally riding a mountain bike trail on a 300cc dirt bike, you know, hopping logs, doing this and you know, down big slopes, big hill climbs, and you're spent after a day, but it's a blast.
It's probably relaxing in one aspect of it that you're not racing for time, but on the other side you have to be, you know, on your game so you can get around all these obstacles. It's just a different challenge.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I was gonna start racing it, just because I got my boy into it as well. With he got a little PW50. We were gonna race the off-road series out here, and just when I started to get into it, they have what's called the Frozen Nut. It's a winter hare scramble.
Yeah.
Um, that's when COVID hit. So I literally had one race, and then that's it. We haven't been able to race since the off-road stuff, unfortunately. But it's a different style of racing. Like you're still timed, but you know, it's like checkpoints, and a race will last 3 hours, not 16 laps.
Right.
It's a different mindset of racing. It's more of a endurance race than a sprint, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'm sure not everybody even finishes those races, right? There's got to be some percentage of DNFs in those.
Yeah, DNFs, and you know, sometimes people have to have a moment in the bush when they just had enough. But it's
Yeah.
always good for a good time. It's entertainment.
And are those the type of races where you see all the spectators helping these guys climb different hills and obstacles and helping the bikes over? It's pretty
Yeah, it's similar to that. It's not quite like you're talking the World Enduro Series kind of stuff, right? Like,
yeah, the climbing those massive hills and all that.
yeah, that's basically what it is. We don't quite have the fans, but it's a similar concept.
Yeah, very cool. Um, so yeah, I'm
Hmm.
just getting ready for Christmas here. I haven't bought any presents yet. I still have to do all my Christmas shopping. But it's gonna be pretty small this year. Like you said, Christmas is canceled. So it's just gonna be my
Yeah.
own family, just my own personal family, my mom, dad, my brother, and me, and then my cat and my brother's dog, and that's it. Usually we have on my mom's side her family, two other families that we all get together with. But um, I guess we gotta sacrifice this holiday for the next ones, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not quite sure how ours is going to play out because we didn't have that much restrictions until now. But a lot of people around my neighborhood are kind of over it and just, you know, saying screw it. So we don't know who we're going to get together with. I told my wife to go buy a small turkey if it's just, you know, our family. But I think we're still going to get together with her mom and dad, her sister, and their family. Um, so it'll probably be, won't be the huge size that it always is, but it'll be, um, I don't know, scaled back, but not just us, I don't think.
Sure.
But we'll see. We're kind of up in the air right now, and whatever everyone else wants to do, we're okay with still doing it, but
Yeah, that's how we were for Thanksgiving. We all
we'll
just
see.
as our individual families as well. We usually get together, but we didn't do it for that either. So it was pretty weird. I think it's the first Thanksgiving I didn't see any other families.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And do you want to give some sponsor shout outs to some of your people who have helped you out through the years and maybe some of the companies or people who've helped you out?
What's that? Sorry, you kind of cut out there.
Sure. Do you want to give some sponsor shout outs to some of the people who've helped you out through the years, maybe some people or some companies in particular?
Yeah, for sure. So I've had a lot of help recently. Like I mentioned, a dealership in Calgary. So that's Pro Am Motorsports always really been good for me. Helping me out there, a Kawasaki, Yamaha, Honda dealer. Really big into the motocross stuff, helping guys out. Um, and then I'm kind of their sport bike guy, I guess. I got to give a good shout out to Larry Mills of DP Brakes. I don't know if you ever heard DP Brakes,
Oh yeah, yeah, they're big.
but yeah, those guys were awesome. I actually met him and at Mossport for one of our nationals, and he gave me his card and seemed like a real nice guy. So I figured I'd, you know, phone him up next season and chat with him a bit. And that was 2018, and ever since I've been using his brake pads, I've won championships. So he's a great guy. I touched on it before too. Hindle Exhaust has always been good for us up north here. They really support us at the club level too, which is sometimes hard to come by, right? Because you always get support when you're at the national level, but it's nice to see it at the club level. And then Canadian Kawasaki too. They've had a great backing of me and of club riders and national riders up here. So they've been great as well.
And it just comes to mind, you know, you're on the Kawasaki. How far off of Jonathan Ray's bike do you think your bike is?
Very far.
Yeah, you don't think it's similar?
It's actually funny you say that, because I seen Dave Anthony, Aussie Dave, just put his ZX10 for sale, and I'm like biting my tongue, like, oh, I want to put mine for sale and get that, because that's got the, you know, the Fiber underslung swing arm, the KRT brace frame, the, you know, Superbike motor, and, you know, the nice. I'm sponsored. I should give a shout out to K-Tech too. K-Tech's supported me, so I run K-Tech suspension, and I've ran other brands in the past, and actually my main mechanic out here is a rep for K-Tech. So in 2019, I switched from what I was using before and went on K-Tech, and man, that stuff's good. It's been the best suspension I've ever ran. It actually helped stop that wheelie issue I have with the Kawasaki. I was using Olin's before, and we tried valving it, respringing it, tried everything we could. We couldn't make it work. But with the K-Tech, it just seems to be more plush on the shock. And one click of compression, rebound, just one click can be the difference with that stuff. So I was quite impressed. But anyways, going back to what I was saying, I seen all the stuff that he had on that bike. You know, he's got $10,000 K-Tech forks on it. And I'm like, cool. And for what he's selling it for, it's a good price. So.
What's he asking for something like that?
Oh, I know 25 grand US, which is pricey, but you look at what it's got on it, it's a nice bike. You should have a look at it.
Yeah, some of those bikes are $100,000, you know, or more, 150 grand.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what Ray's bike's probably got, about 150 worth of stuff on it, right? To separate it from mine.
It's wild.
Yeah. But here's the thing too, is our national series is very, I would say it's a mix of your stock 1000 and Superbike, like to keep our cost down. If you were to put this as your stock 1000 and this is your Superbike, we're kind of here with our national. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do to the motorcycle to keep the cost down. So,
Right.
all that fancy stuff would really kind of rule me out of racing our national series.
Yeah, it's prohibitively expensive for most people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing. Like most people, when they say, "Oh, I got a new sport bike. What should I upgrade? Should I get a new exhaust?"
Yeah.
Probably that's not the first thing you should upgrade. No.
Carbon fiber bodywork.
Yeah, if you have all the money in the world, sure, do that. But
yeah,
and I sell exhausts, right? I'm honest here. You should get the first three things are suspension, tires, and brakes. You know, if you have those three things, you can do a lot. And that's what I did, because I didn't even have money to paint my bike when I first started. I just started with primer gray bodywork and called it a day, and got, you know, second place in nationals with primer gray bodywork. But I had the important stuff on my bike. So if you have the right stuff, you can go fast.
That's a great thing. I love seeing guys with primer bodywork as well, because that's just kind of like your all business, right? You don't care about it. You're just all business. If you tuck it down the road, you're not worried about your paint job, right?
Exactly. Man, I didn't even have numbers when I first started. I used duct tape and painter's tape for my numbers.
Perfect. I used to just spray bomb my stuff, just one color, and then I would, you know, put your decals on and stuff. But I'm actually quite fortunate. Give another shout out. My wife's mom and dad are they own an auto body shop, so I've always been able to get free paint jobs and free touch ups on my bodywork. So it's worked out in my favor.
Oh, very good. Yeah, you know, that brings to mind, I talked to a guy, Max Flinders, who races in the Moto America Superbike class. he's got the yellow,
Yeah.
you know, and I found out he paints it yellow because he's got a hookup with a helicopter pilot, and all the planes are yellow. That's why. It's because of the helicopters.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he's got helicopter paint on his.
That's awesome.
Um,
Well, I always actually wondered why he painted it yellow, to be honest with you.
it definitely sticks out. That's for sure. But
Yeah, it's unique, right? And it still looks good. I mean, he's
yeah,
got
you
the
can.
suit to match, and I
You
actually
can.
run the same suits as him. We run those 1X suits.
I'm sure when you're going through all your photos for the weekend, it's really easy to pick out where Max is. You don't have to go through and sort through a million photos of a black and gray bike or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And let's wrap this up a little bit. We're gaining up onto that 1 hour mark. And is there anything else you want to talk about before we signed off?
No, man, that's good. It was good to chat. I'm good though. Anything else you want to ask me?
Yeah, is there where can people find you on social media? Are you out there on YouTube, Instagram, anywhere special?
Yeah, so on social media, you can check out rbod818 on Instagram, and obviously Ryan Boddy, RyanBoddy at Facebook. And check out some cool racing out west. We got some exciting things planned for next year, where we're gonna have quite a big race series, I think, as long as this pandemic goes away by then. So I encourage people to check it out.
All right. Well, I will have everybody go over to your social media. I'll get this posted shortly. And thanks again for doing this, Ryan.
No problem, Eric. I had a blast. Thanks.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.